Good morning guys, this is my Stealth Wood Boss chainsaw. I've had it many years. I took it in as a part exchange for something, I can't remember what. But it's an absolute first class machine, quite old now and they're quite heavy compared to the plastic modern ones, but it's never let me down, and it's, well, if you know about them, you'll concur that they are a superb piece of kit, even though now they are old hat. But the other day I had occasions to saw up some wood, an apple tree, large limbs, and this is very handy. But I don't always require the power of this, and I've got an electric chainsaw, which is this one. And this is, what is it? It's a skill saw. It's a skill saw 1603H1. This came out of a skip. It belonged to, or the company was a hire company, and this was 161 number chainsaw. And this was also old. There's a date someone's put on the handle here. 31 of the 3rd, 81. So you can tell how old that is. But they don't make them like this anymore. It has a self-oiler and so forth. There's no chain brake on this. Well, judging by the age, not surprising, but it's only a little thing, and if used carefully, it's a great little saw. It even has quite a kick for a electric chainsaw. And it has a safety button on the side, so you have to grab the whole thing completely with the hand before you pull the trigger. And this has done an awful lot of work, and you know, sometimes you don't want the power of that. You don't want the noise. You just want quick and convenient, plug in, go. Especially in built up neighbourhood, you don't always want the noise of a chainsaw. It's fine in the wood. But anyway, this morning I've cleaned this up, resharpened the blade. I use a grinder to sharpen the blades. I've done a video on this. I know there's some die-in-the-hard wood types that say, oh, you should use a file and so forth. Well, I'll never go back to a file, and I don't want to start a debate on this. But just as a point I would like to make is the manufacturers of chains, they sharpen them on a grinder. If you've never used one, perhaps you won't appreciate it. But anyway, I'm no wood cutting expert, so I've just given you my opinion. But if you ever see one of these in a sale, I've never seen a electric one to its equivalent. I believe it was 1500 watts, and it's quite a nice little tool. Something I made up for this, and for this one many years ago, is that simple little tool. It's nothing more than a socket, as you can see, and here I've drilled and I've welded a screwdriver end. I know it's simple, and you probably think, gosh, he's been at the University of Bleeding Obvious, but if you haven't got one of these, you won't believe how handy it is. For a start off, it'll tighten up the blade on the, tighten the bar up on the saw, and on that one. On this end, we'll remove the plug on that one. And the screwdriver not only gives you the leverage to do that, it also means I can undo this case. It also means I can adjust the tension of the blade on both of them. So if you haven't got one of those, 10 minutes in the workshop and you'll never regret it. While I've got the camera here, I'll just give another minute of waffle before I put it away. In doing measurements in engineering, another simple one, I often use the caliper vernier gauge. You're all familiar with it, I'm sure. This is really a nice one, and I've had this for many years. And I've always poo-pooed digital jobbies. There's loads of them nowadays, but when I was a lad you couldn't get them, of course. But the old eyesight is not so good, and I usually have to get a magnifying glass to see the divisions. So I've come to appreciate digital ones. And here I've got a digital pair. Very nice. They're producing these at ridiculously cheap prices nowadays. And they're very nice. Switch it on, there we go. And it's very handy to convert from metric to imperial. Very handy. But something I didn't appreciate till I played with these things, and again you'll probably think, oh, he's been to that university again. But if you want to, well, if you're doing some machining of something and you've done a measurement, it doesn't matter what the measurement is, but you find that what it wants to fit is larger or smaller, well, you can deduct that measurement, whatever it is you're measuring, from what you've got to machine, and then take one away from the other. But a far simpler way is to do your measurement in the first place, and then hit 0, and then measure the size it's got to be. And of course now it will tell you the amount you need to increase or to machine off. In other words, I've put this very badly, but what I'm trying to tell you is this will give you positive as well as negative figures. So the 0 can be very handy. I perhaps haven't explained that as well as I would like to, and I'm not going to redo it, but you just give it some little thought for a bit and you'll probably understand what I'm saying. So I no longer poo-poo these things, but I won't be throwing that out either.